But there's the Clean and Simple card. For this card, I used the All Things Fabulous stamp set. I got to move it up a little bit. I just have to remember that. And the coordinating dies on the other cards. I didn't use them on this one. But I specifically used this image, and the 3 leaves. And then I didn't like any of the sentiments that were in that one. So I chose to use Lovely You, and I used Just Because. All right. So here's the first card we're going to make. And I'm going to, okay, I've got to finagle it to see where to put it. And that may not work. So you're going to start off with a card base of white. And I have scored it. And I'm going to fold it on that score line. All right. And I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to move this over here because I can get it over there. And I can move this up to do my stamping in. But you see that line from the blinds. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crumb cake. Hey, Janie. And I'm going to ink up that solid stamp with my crumb cake. And see, there's no shaking because it's not on the table anymore. And then I'm going to stamp that down in this corner. And I'm going to give it a few seconds so that the ink transfer. Hey, Kristen. Oh, sorry, it's Kirsten. All right. And you know what? Okay. Hang on. I was supposed to off-stamp it, and I didn't. So let me get this. I told you it was going to be one of those days. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to fold my cardstock. I'll use that as a filler. And I don't know if I scored this correctly because it's not laying down right. I probably didn't. So there we go. All right. Well, that's really off. Oh my goodness, it's one of those days. All right, let's try this again. And I'm going to pull in a scrap paper so I have it. I'm going to ink up my stamp, stamp it off, and put it in the corner. And you need it lighter because this image is going to go on top, and it is full strength. And if you'd left the other one full strength, you wouldn't have seen it. So I'm just going to stamp that on top like so. And there's my flower. Now I need to add my leaves, but to do that, I need to create a mask, which I did, like so. All right, I'm going to stick my mask down, and then I'm going to take this image, whoops, this leaf, because there's 3 leaves in there, and I'm going to use Memento black this time, and this is why you need your mask. And I'm going to stamp that right about there. Then I'm going to take the little tiny leaf, and I'm going to ink it up. It's actually only got 2, it's the smaller one, with the crumb cake, and I'm going to stamp it just behind that other one. And then I'm going to take that last leaf, I'm going to ink it up, and that one comes over here. And I'm giving it a few seconds for the ink to transfer. Photopolymer stamps do better if you give them time for the ink to transfer. All right. Okay, yes, it's lighter, and you'll see if you didn't with this one, see how you can see it? Let me pull the one I messed up back in here. This is the one I messed up, and I'll show you. That was full strength. if I do this on top of it, it doesn't give you the depth for the second piece, and really and truthfully that will dry and it'll be really light because this one is really light, so you really wouldn't see that. I'll show you. Set it to the side. Now I'm going to take my mask off, and the mask lets you stamp and have the flowers behind. So there's the Clean and Simple, and then I'm going to take my Just Because, and now this is not photopolymer, so I suggest you stamp it on a scrap paper so you know how you lined your block up on your sentiment up on your block, so you make sure you get it on there straight. And there's our Clean and Simple card. But, and then this is where it's going to get tricky because I can't, it's still too low. I would really like it right about there, but it's not going to stay because it's just one of those things. So we'll work with it. All right, we're going to take this card and we're going to step it up to this. So you can see how I went from here to here. So the first thing you need, and I did all my die cutting ahead of time. First thing you need is your piece of white. I'm going to just stick that over there. Your piece of white, and you're going to stamp your sentiment up in the corner. All right. Oh, you're quite welcome, Kirsten. Always ask questions. That's how you learn. And don't feel any question is stupid, because believe me, I've asked some stupid ones in my time. All right, so I've got my sentiment on there, and it's probably over to the right too far, but that's okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some linen thread, and I'm going to tie a bow all the way around this, and I'll show you how to do it. All right, I'm going to leave a tail, and I'm going to wrap it around. I'm going to get back over here, and then I always do right over left and pull it as tight as you can get it. And it's okay if it doesn't get really tight. I put my finger down, and then I'm going to make another knot so that that one stays in place. All right, pull it tight. Ooh, I got that one on good and tight. Now, if you look at this, if you pull this north to south, all right, you then can take and get the bow to lay the way you want it to. So take the bottom, the south thread, the bottom piece, take your top piece and pull it over and put it through, just like you tie a shoe, put it through the hole. I'm going to try and so you can see. See, there's a hole there. I lost it. Right, pull it over. There's your hole. Stick it through and pull. Now don't pull it too tight. And when you pull, pull east to west. All right. And there you go. And then you pull this one down and this piece down. And I'm going to use my ribbon scissors. Remember, ribbon scissors, or you will take and dull your scissors. Dull your scissors. So I've got my thread on, my bow on there. Now, if this isn't tight enough for you, what you can take and do is flip it to the back. Excuse me. I'm going to use the last of my tear-in tape here. And take a piece of double-sided tape. Pull one side tight and stick it down and push it down hard. Then take the other side. Now make sure they're straight before you do this. All right, it is. Pull it tight this way and put another piece of tape over top. And see how you've got that play in there? It's tightened it up on the front. Now we need to add our flowers, and I opted to go with 2 flowers for some interest. So I cut out my 2 flowers, and then I cut out a bunch of pieces, one each of the brown. I'm going to add those to my flowers before I put those down. So I'm going to take my, I got to remember to keep going back over here. Dang, it's falling some more. Hang on, let me move it up again. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. When I get the guy with the strength over here, that'll help. It's still one more time. I'm sorry. This is all right. I think I got it. That helps. Okay, so add a glue dot, and you're going to put it on the front of your leaf because you're going to add that to your flower like so. Then I took the same little tiny one, stamped it, used my dies, cut it out. Thanks, Kirsten. Just keep telling me, move it up, I will. All right, and I've added that there. So there's that flower. Then I'm going to take the 3-sided one, and I'm going to add it here. So I've got my first flower done. And then for my last flower, I did one more black leaf, and I'm going to put it up here like so. Now we're ready to add dimensionals, or pop dots, foam dots, whatever you guys call them. All right, I'm going to use that. I'm going to add a bunch of these because I want to make sure it stays popped up really well. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. And don't forget to add your dimensionals, your pop dots, foam dots to your leaves because they need support also. Okay, so there we go. All right, I need my pokey tool. I don't know what you guys call it. I call it a pokey tool. And I'm going to take and I'm going to take the backs off of all of it. And when you do this, hold your leaves and your flowers so you don't rip. I've done it before where I haven't held that one and I've ripped it off. So make sure you hold it so you don't rip your leaf off. I've had to recreate the whole thing. All right, I'm going to put this on here, and I'm watching my edges so I don't go past it. And it's okay if you go past a little. And then this one I'm going to kind of tuck the one side underneath. And that's going to be too high. Hold on. It's okay. I'm going to go under a little bit further. I'm going to move it over a little bit because I can't go too far past that, like so. Because then when I put it on my card base, it's going to stick out past the card base, which means when I put it in my envelope, I'm going to mess it up. All right, and then this goes on here like so. And our clean and simple card, or our stepped up card, I should say, because this one is stepped up, is done. Now, before I put this down, I'm going to take the backings off of my double-sided tape so that this sticks down really well.